tireless explorers, creatively discovering a universe of solutions, telling stories, experimenting, inspiring, mentoring, connecting cultures, and connecting with each other, leading by example. Experience the unique joy of helping students thrive. Teaching is a journey that shapes lives. Are you ready to begin? Explore teaching at teach.org, a campaign supported by the U.S. Department of Education, Teach.org, and 1 million teachers of color.
Breaking news, weather, entertainment, and sports. We have it all here. This is 1017 FM, 1510 AM WGKB Waukesha and W269DL Milwaukee, a locally owned Good Karma brand station.
It's time! It's time! It's beta time!
You are watching a master at work.
Truth Nation, get ready for the greatest 60 minutes in radio, giving you his authentic and bold opinions, bringing you all the information, entertainment, and conversations you gotta hear. From local issues to trending topics and headline news, it is time for Truth to Power with Kyle Wallace on the award-winning 1017 The Truth app, 1017thetruth.com, and streaming live on YouTube. Now, live from the American Family Insurance Studio at the Avenue in the heart of downtown Milwaukee, here is your award-winning host, Kyle Wallace.
It is Truth to Power here on the award-winning 1017 The Truth. I am your host of Truth to Power, and we are coming to you live from the American Family Insurance Studio at the 3rd Street Market Hall in the Avenue. Shout out to my boy DJ Brother Z, always holding it down for me on the ones and the twos. Shout out to YouTube Nation for chiming in today and watching, as you always can watch on YouTube. That's 1017 The Truth on YouTube, 101.7 The Truth on YouTube. Subscribe, hit that thumbs up like button as well, and tune into what I think is going to be another informative show. If you want to join in on the conversation, because I do want to hear from y'all, Truth Nation. I know Sherwin talked about the impacts of tariffs today, and I wanted to dabble in some of that because it is a drastic impact that we are feeling, and those who may not feel it in a certain way will eventually feel the economic impact of this coming up here very shortly. So chime in at 833-212-1017. Truth Nation, I'm going to kick it off by being real. America is at war. America is at war. And off the top, I'm going to talk about how America is currently at war.
Woke up this morning, you got yourself.
Y'all know what time it is. It's time for Off the Top on Truth to Power. Kyle, let Truth Nation know what you got to get off your chest today.
Well, what amazes me is the fact that people are surprised about what's happening today. That's what amazes me. We've heard about this for a while now. Trump has talked about these tariffs, and this isn't the first time he's talked about these tariffs. Trump talked about the tariffs on the campaign trail. Trump talked about how tariffs are a beautiful tool, they're a beautiful thing. And Trump also instituted tariffs that impacted farmers across America, I'm going to say 4 years ago, but now we're talking about 6 to 8 years ago when he was initially in office, which led to soybeans getting bought from other countries and corn and different things like that, which hurt farmers, and farmers in America were still trying to recover from that. Now, those tariffs impacted certain industries, but it didn't have as negative of a ripple effect as the tariffs that we saw put in place yesterday by Donald Trump that has sent the stock market crashing, has sent people panicking, and have sent people trying to understand what in the world is going on, right? But I'm telling y'all, what amazes me about all of this is that people are acting like they're shocked, right, by what took place. And I tried to tell y'all before. I told y'all when we launched this show, I talked about tariffs. I talked about the impact. Matter of fact, I even think Zech might have marked a date for us to check back in July with, where our country would be at and what people would be talking about. And I tried to tell people is that Trump this time around, it was going to be different. He surrounded himself around a lot of like-minded individuals. See, his first time around, he surrounded himself around intelligent individuals who really had America first, right? People who were grounded, real Americans who were, in the military, that actually served in the military and worked their way up the ranks and didn't come from Fox News and all of a sudden is running the military, right? He didn't get people who wrote books about Project 2025 to work in his staff. He actually got real staff members. Reince Priebus was his chief of staff, was, somebody who worked their way up the ranks in the Republican Party. And so what we're seeing right now is you're seeing him being emboldened, empowered, and enabled by people who see the world the same way he does, right? And before you had people who would be guardrails, people would say, hey, Mr. President, we may not want to do this. Or, hey, Mr. President, we need to respect those who are our friends. Hey, Mr. President, you don't want to ruffle feathers because it can cause for negative things to happen. But see, this time around, that's not the case. And yesterday, after 3 o'clock p.m. Central Time, war was raged not only on American citizens by the President of the United States, but war was put on global economies across this world. And it went into full effect yesterday when he put on his tariffs. Now, y'all, 833-212-1017. I want to know what y'all think about this, because when we look at what has occurred, I don't, again, understand why we're shocked. See, Elon Musk, something about him, he's a little different, right? Because he always tells the truth. Elon Musk, I shouldn't say always tells the truth. He's a liar as well. But Elon Musk will drop you nuggets on what's actually going to happen. And I've been saying that Elon Musk told us, he told Americans that we should brace ourselves for something like this. He told us America needs to go through a moment of pain. That's what he said. He said we needed a moment of pain in America. And he also said in October of 2024, during a live stream podcast campaign event that he was doing, he said America should brace for the initial severe overreaction in the economy if Trump won. America should brace for the initial overreaction of the economy if Trump won. America needs to go through a moment of pain. In Truth Nation, this is what we're seeing right now, so nobody should be surprised by this. Elon Musk told you that this was coming. He told you that there was going to be a temporary hardship, Truth Nation, and we have now entered a moment of temporary hardship. That's what this is, and the hardship is going to be felt in our pockets. See, we already know gas prices are up right now. And then you saw the tariffs on cars are going to cause cars to go up at least $5,000 for new vehicles. Who can afford that? I remember when Milwaukee, literally, this is a real life experience, when Milwaukee sales tax went from 5.6% to now 7.1%. My mama said, listen, I got to go get me a car now by the end of the year, because I can't mess around and wait to pay that extra 2.4% on my taxes for sales tax. So she actually literally bought a car at the end of 2024 which in the end, when you talk about 2% on a nice car that you buy, she saved thousands of dollars by simply buying a car 20 days before the new sales tax went in. But now every American across this country is going to feel this new sales tax because this is a sales tax, Truth Nation. Don't let anybody tell you any different. This is a sales tax that the Americans have to wear. You're going to feel it. And then, again, this ain't just me talking. It's not. Y'all know I'm anti-Trump, very anti-Trump. But this isn't just me talking. There's a gentleman named Mike Pence. You may remember him. Some of y'all voted for him. Mike Pence is the former vice president of Donald Trump when he was first elected. Mike Pence tweeted out yesterday how this is going to be painful for Americans and Donald Trump needs not to play around with tariffs. This is his former vice president saying that, see, because according to Goldman Sachs, the tariff that was placed yesterday is going to have a negative impact on y'all. DJ Brother Z, DJ Ricky, I hope y'all hearing this, is according to the former vice president under Donald Trump. He said that a new tax would be, the tariff would basically be a new tax of $3,500. $3,500 tax. I don't know about y'all, but I don't have $3,000 just laying around for me to have to pay in my extra cost. So for those who voted for Donald Trump, don't say a peep. Don't complain. And I knew this was a problem when some folks I know who were supporters of Trump didn't understand what the rhyme or reason or what the strategy was. When smart individuals who work in economics look at this and raise an eyebrow, that should be concerning. So I'm just telling y'all this right now. People messed around and now they finding out. 833-212-1017. Tyrone, you're on the award-winning 1017 The Truth. What are your thoughts on this conversation?
My God, man. Good morning. Crack it. What's up?
What's cracking, lacking, Tyrone?
You got it. Crack it, lacking. All right, let's get it, baby. What's up there, DJ Glenn, DJ Brother Rick? All right, Milwaukee, Tyrone speaking. Yes, Tyrone W. speaking. Well, you're absolutely right, Kyle. And I'm not shocked nor surprised. I'm sad and disappointed because, yeah, we as Americans, but I like products from all around the world. I mean, cocoa butter, you know, the Oriental ointment, Tiger Balm. I rub that on my aches and pains but I still got to catch up with Elizabeth Brown over some of them concoctions, though. But yeah, you're absolutely right. And he's talking about, starting to going back to the shipbuilding again, too. China's got that market just about on lockdown, man, with them ships. So we're going to have to come hard to, get back in first place on that. But you're absolutely right, though. I mean, it's tough to pay these high prices on a lot of this stuff, man, because, I done broke down to a salad and a sandwich, by the day, oh boy, peanut butter mayonnaise sandwich.
I ain't never had that one, Tyrone. I ain't never had a peanut butter mayonnaise sandwich.
It's hard on the throat. But it's rough. But yeah, we got to do better for ourselves and for the youngsters coming up underneath us. It's tough to be paying this stuff here, but you don't want to have a battle with the Japanese and Chinese all the time because, first of all, they got more people than us. Then they got us on the technology, so you're going to have to be friends with somebody.
You're going to have to be friends with somebody. That's absolutely right. I just want y'all to understand is that we are going to feel this. If y'all thought inflation was bad after the pandemic, inflation is going to rise. I had a very smart person who, again, is a Trump supporter tell me that he is concerned that this is going to cause for inflation to go up. This is going to cause for people to lose money. And what we have to understand is that during the pandemic, yes, we saw the economy dip, but then the economy built itself back up and was better than what it was before the pandemic hit. So at that point now, you're talking about even those who have money, they have more money. So through inflation, though it's hard, if wages are going up, if people are finding jobs, at least they can have the funds to be able to pay for the higher cost. Now, it doesn't mean that we didn't need to bring inflation down, which the Biden administration did, but still, at least you had high employment. But we have to understand that it is bigger than just the tariffs and the cost of everything, because now you have a new tax with these tariffs that's going to cause the cost of living to go up. And then on top of that, people who live, and y'all have to understand, the stock market is people's 401ks. People pull money out of the stock market to live on a day-to-day basis sometimes, right? So now you're telling people their value of what they have in the stock market is decreasing. The prices are increasing. That is not a good combination. And on top of that, Truth Nation, we have to understand we are living in a moment in time right now where they have laid off hundreds of thousands of federal workers. So now you have people, and again, federal workers don't just work in D.C., they work across here. You saw here in Wisconsin, David Crowley talked about how the health department is going to be losing employees here locally. The VA is going to be losing employees here locally. This is something that's felt across the country. So on top of not having a job, now people have to deal with higher prices. Now people have to deal with the money that they have invested in the market that could be something that they can try to go to is now decreasing as well. The world and the walls and the ceilings are crumbling on so many people right now, and this was not the time to do this. And so again, I want people to understand that some of us may be okay. Some of us may be able to survive. But this is a self-inflicted gun wound that Donald Trump has pointed at you as an American citizen. And we cannot just sit here idle and make excuses for what we're going to go through. 833-212-1017. When we come back, I see your calls, I see your texts. I got some additional audio that I do want to play to let people understand exactly what's happening. And you hear this conversation about layoffs happening in the public sector, but do understand these tariffs have immediately caused for layoffs to happen in the private sector, and people are planning for more layoffs to happen. Today is a bloodbath. Today is war on you, the American citizen. And all you can do is blame these fools that voted for Donald Trump. This is Truth to Power with Kyle Walsh. On the other side, we'll have more conversation. 833-212-1017 is the Truth Talk to text line. We'll take your calls and texts next.
More of Truth to Power is next on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com. Milwaukee Black Talk.
And Joe Biden wasn't very controversial. He wasn't. Now, he might have done some things in his long, storied past, but if you all have been in the same line of work for 46 years, you probably have done some questionable things too. Joe Biden was a safe choice. He was a level of common sense. He was a level of stability. He was a familiar political commodity. Democrats don't have that right now. Democrats are caught with their pants completely down.
Listen to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes, weekdays from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m.
It's 1017 The Truth. Dr. Ken Harris for Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. There's lots of buzz surrounding the draft, but you won't find one seeping through Pella's windows and doors. In fact, you should make Pella your number one pick because right now you can take advantage of no interest financing options or free glass upgrades as long as you order by April 30th. Make a statement by adding Pella's architectural interest inside and out with maximum design flexibility. Their talented designers and installers can match your unique home through dramatic sizes, custom colors, finishes, profiles, product types, and more. Along with durable and distinguished details, all Pella products stand the test of time, which is why they confidently offer the best wood warranty in the industry. Don't miss out on no-interest financing options or free glass upgrades at Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Certain restrictions apply, and the deal ends April 30th, so place your free in-home consultation today at PellaWI.com.
Ready to buy your first house, move into your forever home, or simply refinance? At Associated Bank, they've got you. With the right lending plan and guidance, you can achieve your dreams. Your financial goals are closer than you think, and Associated Bank is excited to help you reach them. Learn more at associatedbank.com/lending or ask a banker for details. Subject to credit approval, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Life's better with American Family Insurance. Because whether it's a family road trip in your dream car or hosting a family reunion in your dream home, we help you feel protected so you can enjoy those dreams with peace of mind. Save up to 23% when you bundle home and auto. American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. Visit amfam.com to learn how discounts may apply to you. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
My name is Adrienne, and I was hurt in a car accident. What Gruber Law Office has done for me was made me feel safe. It didn't cost me anything, just one call, that's all.
Injured? Call Gruber Law Offices today. One call, that's all.
When you're high, you feel different. Pretty obvious, right? You think different, talk different, but if you feel different, you drive different. So if you're high, just don't drive. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
It is Truth to Power on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and streaming live on 1017 The Truth on YouTube.
Dance with my dogs in the nighttime. Trap with the chickens like Popeye. Money changing colors like tie-dye.
It is Truth to Power here on the award-winning 1017 The Truth. I am Kyle Walsh, the host of Truth to Power here on the award-winning 1017 The Truth. 833-212-1017. That is the Truth Talk to text line. You can chime in via text or call. Like we have these calls coming up here we're going to get to shortly. But also I saw on YouTube, you can stream and watch us live on YouTube. 1017 The Truth on YouTube. And shout out to Creation Muse had a good point here, or a point. At some point, inflation down the line was going to get ridiculous regardless of who was president. Handle things now or push it to the next generation. It's like a balloon. It's gonna pop. Got to level the playing field and stay bending to your opponent. And when I see that is that we can level the playing field, but what Trump did was this. What he thinks is going to be very strategic. Trump said, okay, I'm going to place these tariffs on these people. And the tariffs that he placed were ridiculous, right? It wasn't even reciprocal. It was ridiculous. He said, you hear this here, we're going to hit you even harder, right? So he did that, trying to bring people to the negotiating table to try to bring these tariffs down. But again, what we have to understand is that this is still going to be a lot of economic pain for we, the Americans. And what people have to understand is that Kamala Harris and Biden, their presidency wasn't a bad presidency. And they walked into an absolute mess, and they did a good job of managing that mess and investing in the country. But the problem is that though stock market was hitting record highs, the stock market only impacts certain people. When you talk about the day-to-day of goods, right, the prices of goods, when those are still high and people can't get by, that's what frustrates them. That is what happens. And so, yes, Donald Trump had his love affair in November. But if things do not get better for the American people, where prices don't go down, gas doesn't go down, mark my words, they will get slaughtered come 2026. And if things don't change after that, the Democrats are going to trot their ways back into the White House. It is not about Democrat and Republican a lot of times. It is about the economy stupid. And that's what it came down to. Biden could do all these great things, but at the end of the day, if people went to the grocery store, if people went to go buy things and the cost was still high, people don't care why it was high. They said, I got you in office to get it down, and you did not get it down to a level that we wanted. And then ultimately you pay the price of losing an election. And Donald Trump is not above that. J.D. Vance is not above that. The Republican Party is not above that. The Republicans, if they don't get this stuff under control, they're going to get destroyed come 2026. 833-212-1017. Before we get to the line, I want y'all to hear this news story from CNN, because I want y'all to just understand exactly what tariffs are and how it impacts American citizens.
What is a tariff? It's cool to ask, really, especially with Donald Trump back in the White House. Now, simply put, a tariff is a tax on imported goods. But what does that actually mean? Let's try this. Say these t-shirts are sold by a U.S. company, some hypothetical but obviously super cool clothing brand, and you have to have one of these t-shirts. But these shirts aren't actually made in the United States. They're produced by an international company, which is outside the U.S. Now that means the U.S. company needs to import the shirt that you covet. Now, for the sake of hypothetical, let's just say for $20 a pop, which the U.S. company then turns around and sells for, say, $60 each, which is an insane price to pay for a t-shirt. But hey, look, you do you. But what happens if the U.S. government imposes a tariff on your coveted t-shirt? Why? Well, historically, there are two triggers for tariffs. One, protect a domestic industry. In this case, maybe the U.S. t-shirt industry is getting crushed. And two, raise government revenues. Regardless of the reason, let's just say the government has now imposed a 10% tariff on our t-shirts, which means that the American company that imports the same t-shirt, it costs $22. Now, history tells us the American company isn't just going to eat that cost. Margins, they matter. So they pass that cost on to you, the consumer.
Which is
now,
a tax.
I get it. You have to have this shirt. So a couple extra bucks, no big deal. But you're asking about tariffs for one reason. President Donald Trump, a guy who fervently believes in tariffs, so much so that he's proposed tariffs across the board on every imported good from anywhere. Universal tariffs. Now, think about that couple extra bucks you were cool with shelling out for that trendy t-shirt. What if it wasn't just the shirt, but everything imported that you buy?
Think about that. Everything that you buy is going up. So the t-shirt that costs $50 now costs $54. The couch that costs $800 now costs $900. The car that was going to cost $30,000 now costs $35,000. The everything that you could potentially get, the washer and dryer, the things that you need, some of these necessities cost more money. These are taxes on the American citizens. And people try to tell y'all that this was coming, but y'all purely just ignored it. 833-212-1017. That's the Truth Talk to text line. Ms. Cobb, you're on the award-winning 1017 The Truth. What are your thoughts on this conversation? Yeah, it looks like she just hung up. Al, you're on the award-winning 1017 The Truth. What are your thoughts on this conversation?
Well, this is what happens when you have an unelected non-American. We the blacks going to be okay, but it's going to be the whites who feel it. So pucker up.
That's very true.
We try to tell them so let them feel it, because we know how to do it. Now they gonna feel what black people feel, and you know how they get when they money go. They kill themselves. We just roll over and get ready for another day. Have a good one.
Yeah, you have a good one too, Al. I will say this. This is something that the problem with this tariff is that yes, black people, we gonna feel it. Don't get it twisted. But white people are more invested in the economy on just a general numbers level. Is that they're going to feel it. And Al said that, do we as black people, should we not care what's happening today? I'm curious about that. Do y'all not care what's happening today? Because I disagree with, I know we said, we're going to sit on the side and watch it. But we should definitely care about what happens, because everyone who has a career and a job right now, right, a career that they're employed by somebody else, or you could be self-invested. But the economy and the stock market needs investments can impact your overall retirement funds and where that's at, right? The day-to-day items, like white people don't just buy day-to-day items, we do. Our businesses got to buy items as well. Everything goes up. We are all impacted. There are some things we can sit on the sideline and laugh and say, that's y'all problem, but this is everybody's problem. Because that dollar bill don't care if you're white, black, Asian, Hispanic, Native American, they do not care. So we have to understand that it's bigger than white or black today. 833-212-1017. Brian, you're on the award-winning 1017 The Truth.
I tell you, that depopulation agenda shows its evil head in all different types of ways. The more stress you have, the less lifespan you have. I'm worried about the older folks more or less than the younger folks, because like Al just said, young black folks know how to get around and get what they need.
Why are you worried about the older folks? Can you explain that so everybody understands why there should be a concern about the older folks?
Pensions.
Fixed
funded
income.
pensions. Exactly. Older folks, if they think that their retirement is going to be cut or limited in any way, that causes what? That causes stress, right? The number one killer of people is stress. So if the whole world is stressing over tariffs, that's depopulating the planet. That's depopulating the United States for the most part.
Yeah,
but
it does. It has a very negative impact. You're absolutely right. There's a negative impact with that comes along with these tariffs. Thank you so much for Brian for joining us here. And he makes a great point, right? When you think about fixed income, when you think about people who have pensions, right? is that if you are getting, $3,000 a month based off your pension or fixed income, ain't no 75-year-old gonna get up and try to get a side hustle. They're not finna go just be a Walmart greeter out of nowhere. Like, their lifestyle is fixed, right? And so there's an adjustment for inflation that happens with people who get Social Security checks, but this is a significant jump. And this is something that they really can't prepare for. They got to pay rent. They got to eat food. They got all these other things that they have to do. And if the prices continue to go up, they are the ones that suffer. People, we are suffering from this. And I definitely, on the other side, want to talk about the economic impact, because a lot of people are talking about the fact that you have these tariffs and they're going to bring jobs back to America. That's what they claim. They claim is going to bring jobs back to America. So right now, we are making a sacrifice, Truth Nation. You're making a sacrifice with your pocketbooks in order to bring jobs back to America during a time where somebody got voted in to fix the economy, to make things more affordable, to bring prices down, because that's what he said he was going to do. He said he was going to bring the price down. DJ Brother Z, you heard a lot of political stuff. Was it supposed to be prices coming down? Was Trump supposed to come in and bring prices down? Ask your mama if prices coming down, because that was the thing that people wanted. People wanted to bring the prices down, but the prices are going up. Y'all were lied to, and now America has a bloodbath on its hand. 833-212-1017. That's the talk to text line. Miss Sandra, good afternoon. How you doing? Welcome into Truth to Power.
Hi, Kyle. I'm fine. How are you doing?
I'm doing okay. I'm not very happy about the stock market. I decided that it's probably a good time to try to buy and not panic. But it's gonna be a rough little moment here, because I don't know if these tariffs are going to actually have the impact that we need in order for us to truly thrive as a country.
Right. Well, he said what he was going to do, and he started doing some of the stuff before he left office the first time. So I guess it's a big wake-up call now, because about time, you try to at least solve the problem, it'll be too late now. Most of the time when the guy called and he said depopulation, I always say that too, because when I talk to Dr. Ken, a lot I tell him. Now I got this paper right now, and it's talking about U.S. robotic companies are pushing for competitive strategies. So now behind all of this playbook that he's eliminating people's jobs and all of this, I think a lot of the jobs are automated. Like, even if he brought them back, they'd be automated. There won't be that many people working in there. And so I don't know what they expect the people to do. I guess crime. He said he's going to send them to El Salvador. So I don't think they care, because these are rich people. They got it. Trump has got it. His family got it,
Listen, I'm going to tell you this, Miss Sandra. Like, are there some people in, higher-ups that aren't concerned? Yes. But I'm telling you this right now. The CEO of BlackRock, which is a massive company here, a company so large that they're actually, if you heard about the Panama Canal, right? The Panama Canal, Trump was talking about, we need access to the Panama Canal, this and that, we're going to take it back. BlackRock is actually in negotiations to buy it from a Chinese company that owns ports around the Panama Canal, right? And so they have that type of funding and that money to do things like that. You have Goldman Sachs coming out. You have a lot of these individuals that are high in finance and economics who are concerned about what is happening, because what they understand is that there has to be a strategy behind things. And right now, Trump's strategy is not strategic. Right? He's trying to do something to strong arm people. See, you can strong arm somebody when you negotiate how much you're going to pay, plumbers to put in the plumbing in an apartment building you're building or a hotel you're building. You can strong arm and negotiate with people when you talk about, okay, who we going to hire to do the windows and how we're going to negotiate the price for all the windows and installation for that. Yes, you can strong arm and negotiate things like that, because you're talking about one entity, one building that you're building. That doesn't have a big impact to people. It just impacts the bottom line of how much money's coming out your pocket. But when you try to strong arm other countries and you tell them we're going to have a tariff on this, and the impact of that means that American citizens have to cost more, it causes what we are seeing today. It causes an absolute panic, and that is what we're seeing today. 833-212-1017. We are talking about the tariffs that were placed on other countries that really no rhyme or no reason for these tariffs. When people were doing the math of it, it was simple math that they did. They didn't actually look at it and were strategic about it. They just threw tariffs on multiple countries. 833-212-1017. Mike, you're on the award-winning 1017 The Truth. What are your thoughts on this conversation?
I think we're gonna be all right. I think we're gonna be all right. A lot of people kind of panicking right now, but you know what I'm saying. If you're in the stock market, you buy a dip. You know what I'm saying. You don't panic, you just buy a dip.
Yeah, what
just
about
sit on what you got?
I feel you, Mike. What about those on fixed income? And the prices that are going, going up.
They may have to figure something out. But I think
real quick, Mike, just asking, how does an 80-year-old who's retired figure something out? What do you think they should do to try to make sure that now the things that they bought, so their weekly grocery list that they had to struggle through the pandemic, and now they have to struggle again, it went from, them spending maybe, $200 per week now up to $275 per week, which, mathematically wise, you're talking about spending an additional $300 a month on a fixed income. What suggestions do you have for them?
They might keep their kids up. They might have their kids held now for a minute.
Okay, yeah, I mean hey, any suggestions? So I feel you, Mike. So I'm with you. I think some people are gonna be impacted differently. You got to ride out the wave, and hopefully it's positive on the other side. I appreciate you calling in, Mike.
All right.
Yes, sir. And again, I do think a lot of people have that mentality that we just have to ride the wave, and some people are very, very nervous about what is going to come. For me, I think that we're living in a country where something I learned during the pandemic is that people don't have a lot of nest egg money. They don't have a lot in savings. They have a lot of debt. And so now when you're talking about when you already have a lot of debt and now your day-to-day is being spent on the day-to-day items you need go up in price, you now have less that you can contribute to pay down on that debt. And so if you are an investor and you are able to, stay stable during this time, this may be a good time to get ready to save up to invest. Whether you're talking about the stock market or you talk about the pending housing crisis that is going to come. You can't just lay off thousands of people that had good paying jobs and think that cost of living goes up and houses aren't going to people aren't going to be able to pay their mortgages. I'm telling y'all this right now. Y'all can track it. 2026, at some point during 2026, people are going to continue to default on their mortgages. Just wait for it. 833-212-1017. I see the calls. I see the text. We'll definitely get to it next. But on the other side, we'll take those, and we'll also talk about the fact that people who are allies of Trump said that this was a bad idea. But before that, Zach, do we have the clip to play to go into the break from somebody?
On all imports that he has described would be a 20% sales tax, in essence, on basic necessities for the average American worker, average American family, totaling almost $4,000 a year. That is no small matter. Here in Pittsburgh,
he wants to impose what is, in effect, a national sales tax on everyday products and basic necessities that we import from other countries. That will devastate Americans. It will mean higher prices on just about every one of your daily needs.
Well, let's be clear that the Trump administration resulted in a trade deficit, one of the highest we've ever seen in the history of America. He invited trade wars.
You want to talk about he's not, he refused to come. But understand that part of his plan is to put in place a national sales tax of at least 20% on everyday goods and necessities. And that, by economist estimates, independent economists, would cost you as the American consumer and taxpayer an additional $4,000 a year.
I want you to meet.
Dude wants to talk about his plans, which really are about cutting taxes for the richest people. Please do check out the Wall Street Journal or Goldman Sachs or the 16 Nobel laureates or Moody's, who have all analyzed the plans and said mine will strengthen the economy, his will make it weaker.
Kamala tried to tell y'all, but, I guess the immigrants and I guess, gas prices really were worth this. Y'all should have listened. Oh, well.
Truth to Power with Kyle Wallace returns after this on 1017 The Truth app, and streaming live on 1017 The Truth on YouTube.
The Alpha Phi Alpha, Delta Chi Lambda, 7 Jewels Foundation Incorporated has supported over 125 young men through the Young Gentlemen's Scholarship Botillion.
We're asking for your support to help continue this important work and empower the next generation of leaders. Through this program, young men receive mentorship, personal development, and scholarships to achieve their dreams.
We need your help to raise over $20,000 in scholarships, including a $5,000 grand prize.
Call 414-364-2835 to make a difference today. Support the Botillion, invest in the future of our young men.
Gear up for a great time as Sports Milwaukee hosts Milwaukee Tailgate Week, presented by Potawatomi Sportsbook. Set for April 24th to the 26th, Milwaukee Tailgate Week features a variety of gridiron activations for all ages, steeped in Milwaukee's iconic sports history, brews, restaurants, and venues. As the 2025 draft takes center stage in Green Bay, Sports Milwaukee and the Cream City are excited to welcome the football world to Wisconsin. For tickets, go to visitmilwaukee.org/tailgate. Brought to you by Visit Milwaukee. Handcrafted, homegrown, world class.
Use promo code VISIT for 50% off. This is your Versity Blood Center of Wisconsin Community Impact Moment on 1017 The Truth.
What was the life change? You know, we all know it happened and we know things happen and you have bad kidneys, but what was the life change afterwards?
A couple things. Before they even allow you to get on the list, they make you go through a battery of tests. And, you know, a lot of people don't qualify because they're overweight or they have high blood pressure or high cholesterol. So all those things are requirements before you can even get approved to be on the list. So I had...
Wait, you got to be approved to be on the list?
Absolutely.
Wow.
It's interesting. There's a professional athlete or former professional athlete I know right now that has kidney disease and he's on dialysis and he wants to get on the list and he's not accepting all the things you have to do, you know, to get on the list. But yeah, so for me, I spent 30 years in the automobile industry. You know, that's 12, 14-hour days, eating whatever somebody brings you to eat, whatever you run out and grab, McDonald's, whatever. It was never salads and, you know.
Yeah, but that was a choice, right?
It was a choice. Yeah. But I had to change all of that to even qualify to be on the list. I had to get down to the weight I had to be at. I had to get my phosphorus under control, my potassium under control.
Wait a minute, even though somebody said they would give you a kidney,
absolutely,
you had to still make yourself eligible?
Absolutely.
Nah, that's okay.
When I mentioned the athlete, his relative actually died, and they wanted to take his organs, and they couldn't because he wasn't qualified. He wasn't on the list. Wow. Yeah, you have to be.
So there are over 100,000 people on that waiting list. So they are very serious.
And how many donors do we have?
And that's the problem. We don't have nearly enough donors. And that's why it's such a critical need. But they are serious about who they're giving that gift of life to because there are so many people who are literally dying waiting for it.
To make an impact by donating blood in your community, visit versity.org today.
This Associated Bank Sports Update on 1017 The Truth is powered by ESPN Milwaukee. I'm Brandon Snide. After starting the season 0-4, the Milwaukee Brewers have now won 2 straight games, including a series win over the Royals on Wednesday, thanks to a walk-off bunt single from Bryce Terrain in the bottom of the 11th inning.
First pitch, bunting it up the first baseline. It's a good bunt. Racing home is done. He will score. Bryce Terrain gets the job done, and the Brewers walk off the Royals on this Wednesday afternoon. And the crew, after dropping Game 1 on Monday, have won the series against Kansas City.
The 2-4 Milwaukee Brewers now will welcome in the Cincinnati Reds to begin a 4-game series. Tonight's first pitch set for 6:40. And lastly, over to the NBA, where the Milwaukee Bucks will be on the road in Philly to take on the 76ers. Tip-off is set for 6 p.m. This sports update brought to you by Associated Bank, proudly supporting your hometown teams. Member FDIC.
You are listening to Truth to Power on 1017 The Truth app, and streaming live on 1017 The Truth on YouTube.
It is Truth to Power here on the award-winning 1017 The Truth, and I want you to tune into the award-winning 1017 The Truth Business Spotlight today at 3:57 p.m. Between the Tori Lowe Show and Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris, we will be speaking with Erica Crowley and Shawana Lindenberg from Community Advocates in the Rental Housing Community Center. They will discuss the steps they are taking to address the disparities in housing access for people of color in low-income communities. So again, that is the Business Spotlight today with Community Advocates in the Rental Housing Community Center at 3:57 p.m. on the award-winning 1017 The Truth. We have been having a conversation about the drastic and shocking tariffs that were placed yesterday on by Trump. He called it Liberation Day. I'm calling it the American Economic Bloodbath Day, as stock markets are crashing. Businesses are already laying people off. And when I say businesses are already laying people off, there's a business called Stellantis, and they do production in Canada and Mexico, and they have stopped production at their Canadian and Mexican plant, and then also the roughly 900 U.S. represented employees supporting plants will be temporarily laid off, in addition to 4,500 hourly workers at the Canadian plant are being laid off as well. So we are seeing how this is going to have an economic impact, where 900 employees here in America are going to be laid off for the moment, and then also 4,500 employees in Canada being laid off. And again, the last thing you want is a global slide economically because of the tariffs, and that's what we are seeing today. 833-212-1017 is the talk to text line. And Apostle, you're on the award-winning 1017 The Truth. What are your thoughts?
What are my thoughts? How are you doing?
I'm doing well. How about yourself?
You were talking about we're in a war. We are going to be seriously in one. He's losing all of his allies. Things are going into chaos. And when he sees the dramatic chaos, war is going to strike. So we as a people, a black race, we need to be looking forward on making plans on what to do when this thing occurs. Woe to America. This guy has an itch in his hands for war. I'm going to leave it at that.
Thank you so much, Apostle, for joining us here today. And it is. I think I agree that there is a war at hand, right? America, like I said off the top, America is at war. We're at war with our president. We're at war with the global economy. And now what we're seeing is we're seeing the Dow has plunged, the dollar has weakened, as recession fears are now on Wall Street. We're talking about a recession here in America. And if y'all don't understand what a recession is, we lived through a recession in 2007, 2008, 2009, and then we lived through a mini recession during the time of the pandemic. And we understand how hard those times were. But right now, the global markets and our local economy is tumbling after Trump and his massive tariffs imposed on almost all goods coming into America. We're seeing the drastic impact. But they said the goal of this is to try to bring jobs back to America. But this is the issue that I have with that, is that will this bring some jobs back to America? Yes. But what we have to understand is that this is a disaster about the way that he went about it. And we have to understand the problem we have in America is that we don't have a workforce that will be able to be trained and hired, right? That is why immigrants were employed plentifully, because we don't have a workforce that is willing to work in some of these jobs. And even if you bring a factory back here, if you don't have the trained workforce to be able to produce that product, that's already going to be trouble right there, because you're not going to be able to produce the product to meet the demand. And then many countries build overseas because it's cheaper to build overseas. And a great example with these car tariffs, even if car companies do come back, I know Hyundai is coming back, or said they're bringing some stuff back here. It might have been Honda, one of the two. It takes years for them to actually build these factories. It takes multiple years. Trump may not even be in office when this happens. So are you telling me if they say, yes, we're going to come back in here, will you bring the tariff off of car companies that come here? Because that will be a necessary reprieve for a lot of Americans who are looking to buy these vehicles. It's not like these things happen overnight. And what we have to understand is that companies are going to either fire employees, as we saw the one company did, or what they're going to do is they're going to make things cost more. A great example is we all heard of a place called Pandora, right? Pandora Jewelry. With Pandora, they build a lot of their stuff is in facilities in Thailand. And for them, they said, listen, they are going to have to charge us roughly about $178 million additionally for our cost of things that we buy here based off these tariffs. They are going to pass the tax that Donald Trump put on Thailand, where they produced a lot of their stuff, onto you, the consumer. This is a war on American consumers. You can always watch and stream us live on YouTube, 1017 The Truth on YouTube. That is 1017 The Truth on YouTube. Make sure you give us a thumbs up and make sure you always subscribe, or you can watch us live on YouTube. Winky Blue, you're on the award-winning 101.7 The Truth. What are your thoughts on the conversation for today?
How you doing, brother? I want to ask the question. How much is one of our dollars worth in Mexico to the Mexican peso? It's roughly about $20. How much is our dollar worth in you just said Thailand? It's a much more than $20. So when we look at the tariffs, we have to convert them into our money system. See, it's almost, I know you're not, but it almost sounds like you're anti-American. If we really go to war, I know you're not, but listen, if we go to war, and the pandemic was not a small recession, we still actually trying to come out of it. For those, the first couple of hours of it was like some type of mania, because people were fighting for water, soda, whatever, toilet paper, whatever. That was a serious depression for those few weeks, months. But anyways, I don't want to get sidetracked here. If this country should fall, Kyle, we can say what we want to about it. It's me and your country. If this country would fall, it would fall on the black man and grind us to powder first. That's why I'm not so apt to always jump to the defense of others when I understand that if this country falls, man, it's going to do me and you worse. It ain't but about 42 million blacks in this country. We're 14% of the population, and it's scary. So my question to you is this. If this country would fall today, what would you do?
If the country was to fall today, I would do my best to keep living my life the best I can. I just think about these tariffs, and I think to myself, how does that keep us from having crime, right? Because if people don't have, crime happens because people lack thereof, don't have the necessities that they need. And so when costs go up, crime may end up going up. So we are, again, I'm not sure what's going to happen, and I hope that the economy turns around. But right now, it looks like we need to brace ourselves for a rough rest of the year of 2025. The caller, you're on the award-winning 101.7 The Truth here.
Hey, what's going on, Kyle? To answer the lower caller's question, anti-American is waving the flag of a country, the Confederacy, that attacked our country and tried to take it over in the 1860s, and a president who will free people who pepper spray cops, and anybody who stands with them is a secessionist. That's what my ancestors told me they were called. That's what history says they're called, and that's what this regime with Musk and Trump are. So that's anti-American. Tariffs is, as you stated, a fact. Every economist says it's bad policy, and hundreds of thousands of people have lost their jobs by a man who told this guy who just hung up he was going to lower egg and bacon prices, and he's done none of what he said. And I want Winky to call tomorrow and tell us what specifically black has happened since January.
I agree with that, because one question I was going to ask is, what have we gotten as African Americans? But on the other side, actually, you know what? Can we play it now, Zach? We'll just be tight with time. I'll make it happen. Well, I want a video. I want y'all to hear. This is a video of the Trump allies. Trump allies talking about how they feel about tariffs. 833-212-1017. Listen in.
The exporter. China's not going to pay the tariff. The buyer is going to pay the tariff.
Donald Trump has proposed a 40% tariff, which is a tax on all of you. I think raising your taxes by 40% would kill jobs all across this country.
I have never agreed with the president's tariff policy, and that's why I do call him and I say, Mr. President, I need to talk to you about these tariffs. And he will come back and he'll say, oh, Joni, I know that you don't like tariffs, but I'm a tariff guy.
Taxing European car imports hurts BMW because they can do the same thing to us. China wins when we fight with Europe. China wins when the American consumer has higher prices because of tariffs that don't affect Chinese behavior.
Now with a 10% tariff laid down, who pays that tariff? The American workers and the American companies pay the brunt of all those. So far, Americans have paid $12 billion in tariffs. It's not punishing the Chinese, it's punishing us.
You know, the highest tariff levels in the history of this country, the Smoot-Hawley tariffs, were enacted, and it shut down world trade. There's little doubt that these protectionist barriers that were put up in 1930 or 31 made the Great Depression worse. So let's not repeat that mistake.
I hope that
Let's not repeat that mistake. Senator Chuck Grassley, it's too late. It's already happening. Tune into the award-winning 1017 The Truth's Business Spotlight this Thursday at 3:57 p.m. between The Tori Lowe Show and Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris. We'll be speaking with Erica Crowley and Shawana Lindenberg from Community Advocates in the Rental Housing Community Center. They will discuss the steps they are taking to address the disparities in housing access for people of color in low-income communities. Again, that is the Business Spotlight this Thursday with Community Advocates in the Rental Housing Community Center at 3:57 p.m. on the award-winning 1017 The Truth.
Great impressions will exceed your expectations. Great impressions, perceptions, everything.
At Great Impressions Graphics and Printing, they've been proudly serving the community for over 26 years. From their location at the corner of 54th and Burleigh in Milwaukee, their dedication to quality and customer satisfaction has made them a trusted name in printing and design. Great Impressions offer a wide range of services, including banners, posters, yard signs, business cards, programs, and postcards. Plus, they specialize in custom apparel printing, perfect for family reunions, sports outings, business promotions, and more. For your next project, visit greatimpress.com. That's greatimpress.com. Great Impressions. They're here when you need them.
Great impressions, perceptions, everything.
Ready to buy your first house, move into your forever home, or simply refinance? At Associated Bank, they've got you. With the right lending plan and guidance, you can achieve your dreams. Your financial goals are closer than you think, and Associated Bank is excited to help you reach them. Learn more at associatedbank.com/lending or ask a banker for details. Subject to credit approval, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
At U.S. Cellular, we believe loyalty is never a one-way street, so we love finding new ways to say thank you to our customers. This is why we're hosting Us Days again. It's our exclusive in-store event to celebrate you, our loyal customers, with unique offers for everyone. Visit our stores during Us Days until April 23rd to take advantage of offers up to $1,200 off of any smartphone and up to $500 off of any tablet. This is the perfect time to upgrade. Come into any U.S. Cellular store for more details. U.S. Cellular, built for us.
Hi, Drew and Jonathan Scott here, reminding you that a lot of life's firsts are better with help from American Family Insurance. Like your first home expansion or your first big lightning strike. There's a first for everything. Get the right home policy at the right price with the right help from American Family's agents. Life's better when you're under American Family's roof. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. American Family Mutual Insurance Company SI and its operating company 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
This is Truth to Power on 1017 The Truth app, and streaming live on 1017 The Truth on YouTube.
This is Truth to Power here on the award-winning 1017 The Truth. I want to thank y'all so much for tuning in today and having this conversation talking about tariffs. I appreciate y'all calls. I appreciate all the texts. And I just want everybody to understand what we are up against today. What we are up against is we are up against somebody who has literally started a war against global economy, started a war against American citizens, and now today, regardless of who you are, what you do, you look at the impact that this is having on the rich, the middle class, and the poor. This is hurting America today. What Donald Trump did with tariffs does not make America better. It makes America worse. It makes companies lose employees. It makes us pay more money at the gas pump, at the grocery store, at the furniture store, and everywhere. This has been Truth to Power. Tori Lowe shows up next. I'll see y'all tomorrow. This is 1017 The Truth's Kyle Wallace, and the time is now, Milwaukee.